remember going into work, you know, days after and weeks after, and hearing people give you compliments on, oh, who does your hair, or who, you know, who cuts your hair, and to know that this is me. It's, you know, I just shave the sides and everything else kind of just comes together naturally. Is you eventually start to not think about it. You know, if I back up before the procedure was done, I was literally thinking about it every second of the day. You know, I wonder who's seeing it. You know, you're sitting at different angles so they don't see the huge bald spot in the back of your head, and it's constantly on your mind. And now I go into work and I literally don't even think about it. And that's the biggest impact that it's had on me. My solution was to go out shopping for hats, and so I wore a ton of hats. I think I had about 15 different kinds, and that matched different outfits, and I'd go out, and so my solution was really to hide it. It got to a point where, you know, obviously I'm going to work and I can't wear a hat at my professional line of business, and so I did look outside and found Hair Club for Men, and I was probably around 28 years old when I found that potential solution. I saw the commercial, and you know, you see the guys in the pool and they're splashing around and their hair is everywhere and it looks great, and so I felt very comfortable, I guess, from that standpoint, but really curious to see what they could do for me. And so when I went in, I actually went in just more for you know, information, and walked out with a contract. And so you know, and it felt like I was pressured into buying their particular product. I guess what I saw in the commercials wasn't even the solution that they gave me. It was you know, a piece that people were putting on their heads, and for me, I wear my hair pretty low, and there just wasn't a solution from that perspective. So we went with a topical solution. So I got into a year contract, and it's the solution is you put a few drops in the morning, a few drops on your head at night, and magically hair is supposed to grow. And in my case, that didn't happen. In fact, you know, it was the solution itself has a funny odor. It's very oily. It stains your pillowcases at night. I mean, it ended up being more of an embarrassment than anything, because I was always conscious that you know, my head is so oily that people are going to notice that, and it almost draws attention to your head as opposed to growing hair. You know, they try to sell you on the fact that hair is growing, and you can see in the pictures clearly that it's not. In fact, in my case, I was losing hair than growing it. So after about a year, they talked about doing a transplant where they would take hair follicles from the back of my head and implement them on top of my head. And again, because of the way I keep my hair, keeping it rather short, the surgery itself would leave scarring, and so, you know, it just wasn't a solution for me. And so they wanted to continue doing the topical and get me into a plan which would cost more money. And to be honest with you, it's the solution that I was doing really was no different than if I go into a big box retailer and buy Rogaine off the shelf. I mean, it's the same thing, except for it would cost a lot less. So I decided I'm not going to stick with Hair Club for Men. I'm just going to do Rogaine, and I got the foam and started applying that again twice a day. And you know, again, I just wasn't. In fact, the most interesting experience that I've ever had was coming in the door, meeting Richard, who now works for the company, and it almost felt like he was talking me out of doing the procedure. He really wanted me to think about it. In fact, I think he said that he wanted at least a week for me to weigh out the pros and the cons and talk about it with the people that are closest to me to see if it's a procedure that I want to move forward with. You really understand what's going to happen to you the moment you come in. They walk you through the steps. They talk about, you know, what's going to happen after the procedure. Not just what you're going to look like, but also what's going to happen to you emotionally. I think the great thing about coming into a place like this is that most of the people that work here have had the work done themselves. So you're actually hearing their life story and you're hearing their experiences, which basically mimic your own. really felt comfortable about the company. I felt comfortable about what was going to happen, what was going to take place. And I went home, like I said before, it was a very non-pressure experience. And I went home and had a conversation with my family and my girlfriend. And together we thought that this would be the best solution. I went in about 3 weeks later into the appointment and met the technician that was going to do the procedure. And she walked me through the steps, what it was going to feel like. She even tested it. I got a feel for what it was going to, what was going to happen. And it was just a really comfortable experience and something that I look back on, and it was probably one of the best things I've done for my person in a very long time. About a 5 to 6 hour procedure. I sat in a chair and I laid out. They had a few movies going on at the time, and I got a chance to catch up on some shows. And the procedure took place. And there were some times where there was a little bit of discomfort, to be honest. I mean, with what was going on, but it wasn't anything that was unbearable for me. And in fact, some places actually felt like they were massaging your head. And after about 6 hours, I was taking a look in the mirror, and when you look at the pictures that they took before, and then you see the instant results after, I mean, I was amazed. And I just remember after the procedure, I had a smile on my face for days. Which bled into my work week the next week, and the interesting part about it is I was nervous that a lot of people would see a difference or could tell that there was something, that I did something to my hair, and it was weird that no one actually saw it as, oh, did you do something different with your hair? Everyone thought I just grew my hair out. And stopped shaving it, and actually had hair that they could see, and they liked the haircut, and I had a lot of compliments on my hair, and that's what kind of really helped assure that I did the right thing. And my girlfriend couldn't wait to see the results, so she rushed in the door and took a look at me, and really, I mean, she got right up close to my head and kind of like examined my head like a physician. And was laughing and smiling the whole time, and said she could absolutely not tell that I had a major procedure done. It just looked so natural. And I was taking pictures of myself in the bathroom and from different angles, and every single one of those pictures, I mean, there was just it just felt like myself again, like I had transformed back into the 24-year-old that I was before I started losing my hair. If you're not sure about the process, then I would say you are in the boat that I was in, because I wasn't sure. I didn't know what to expect, and fortunately for me, I live 10, 15 miles from this building. So it was an easy trip, but I can promise you, coming in, listening to the different stories, listening to my story, I love the procedure. I love what happened. It's a great experience. I'm a different person, and I just feel so much more confident when I'm talking with someone, whether I'm indoors, outdoors, and the sun is shining. I feel like I'm a new person, a new man.